Climbing plants can add a different dimension to your garden. Height and fullness, and just create a lush look. And I was in the mood to get some planting done today. And believe you me, nobody is going to be happier than my garden and me when the drought ends because it is so dry. So I needed a little pick me up, and so did the garden. I went out and I bought me some thunbergias. And really, I want to work on getting this middle garden closer to the house, more flowers, more color, and built up to more of a cottage garden kind of feel. Kelly and I discussed this in the last podcast, and if you want to check that out, zoom on over to the podcast after this video. I had these clay pots and I'm using them, but I would have preferred the resin pots because in my opinion, they don't dry out as fast as these clay pots. So I may be changing these out to different pots here in the future, but I had these available, and so this is what they're going to get for right now. I have a feeling if they're vigorous growers that they're going to need to be repotted in another year anyway. And being optimistic, I'm hoping that rain starts to fall pretty soon, and I will have to do less watering myself because the rainfall will start coming, so fingers crossed on that too. Okay, everybody, this is when you get up and start doing the rain dance for California. We need some rain. And for newbies to the plant world, when you're planting in a pot, do it this way. Fill the bottom of the pot with some soil and fit in the pot to where the level you want it to be. And then add the soil around the pot. Pack it in really firmly in stages and make sure that it's really nice and firm. Just fill it to the top of the nursery container. And what this is going to do for you is it's going to leave that void when you pull the nursery pot out with the plant. It's going to leave the void in the perfect size of hole that you need in that pot, and then you can place it right in the hole, and you're going to see in just a minute. And this planting method works just as well when you're planting things in the ground. And make sure you're lifting up on those vines and not injuring them when you're planting these vined plants, because you can really do a lot of damage if you're not paying attention to that. And it's important to reduce the amount of stress that you're putting on a plant when you're planting them in a different pot or in the ground. So here we go. We're going to lift that pot right out, and you see it creates a void, and that's the perfect size that you need, the perfect depth. I can take that plant right out, slip it right out of the pot, and firm it in, and just pack it down firm. And after I plant both of these up, I'm going to water them in really well. And you're going to find that you'll need to add just a little bit more soil to get it to the level of the pot, but not very much. It's really very easy to use this method. It just seems to save a lot of time and a lot of soil from making a mess, so it's a win-win situation. There's just something about a flowering vine that makes a garden. You know, you got to have some weaving in and out of your garden in different places, creating different interests for the eye to look at, and it just seems to fill out a garden when you have climbers. And you can't beat more color in the garden. It's always pretty, whether it's the green leaves or the brightly colored flowers. Just so beautiful. And to any of you who have climbers growing in your garden and doing really well, drop me a comment below and let me know what you're recommending. What plants do really well as climbers in your garden? With this Black-Eyed Susan vine, there were so many vines that I decided I was going to just use clips and use the plant clips to keep the vines up and away from me when I'm trying to put the soil in, and so I can reduce the amount of damage I do to the vines. These plant clips work great, and you can buy them online, or you can go to your Dollar Tree and get a whole pack. I think they come in packs of 20, and they come in different sizes, so they really come in handy. I use them all the time in the garden. Really worth going out and getting some if you don't have any. I have to remind myself I need to get a soil scoop. so that I can just scoop that soil from the bag right in and prevent making such a mess. Although I do say most of the time when I'm planting like this, whether it's on the ground or in the table, I usually put underneath the pot a big piece of cardboard, and that way I can just fold the cardboard and funnel any of that soil that spilled over right back into the bag of soil to use for next time. Yeah, my wish list is a potting table. That would be really nice, and then I wouldn't have to do that. So that's on the wish list. And in that fantasy world, I would also have a tub that I could plant right inside of and wouldn't have to use the cardboard and dump it in. So yeah, we all have our gardening wish lists, right? It's our fantasies. It's the perfect gardening world. Watering in. So I went and got my hose link, and if you don't have a retractable hose link, you're missing out. It's the best thing ever. I love my hose link and would recommend it every time. It's just perfect for doing the job, and I hand water everything, so it's really important to not have to deal with those kinks in the hose or winding a hose back up. And now came the hardest part, trying to decide where to place them. In the end, I decided to put one by the screen behind the chairs and then one in this place right here. And this is going to be nice. I've got a trellis behind it, and it'll be able to grow up and really get some height right there and give this kind of middle garden a little bit of kind of enclosure, kind of a feeling of enclosure. So it's a little different room in the garden. It's going to be beautiful.